Hello, everyone. How's it going? What's up? Happy New Year to all of you. So, let me see who is in the chat. There we have Vincenzo, Shiva Karthik, Mr. Jahangir, Abhay Deshmukh. Hi, good evening, everyone. How's it going? Oh, by the way, Happy New Year to all of you. And please comment down how did your New Year go? We are starting in just a bit. Let me just get on with the introductions. So, how's the weather there? We have just about 30 people right now. Nice, nice. So how's the weather there? It's like 10 degrees around here. Yes. So, first off, let me give you an introduction. So, what we are going to do here is this is the second part of a masterclass which we did in around October in the previous year. So, if you want to give that a watch, you should, first of all, you should, and then because it will help you in the long run. But you don't need to go right now. First, stay here, do the masterclass, and then we'll go. Right. Hi, Manish. How's it going? Nice. Without any further ado, let me just introduce you to the man of the hour. We have Azan in the house. Hey, Azan.
Hello, hello. What's up, everybody?
Good
Good evening, Harsh. How are you, man?
I'm fine. Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you, thank you. All right. So, how is everybody doing? Can we get a thumbs up, thumbs down? Friday night. Any plans?
All right.
Hello, Abhijit.
Good, good. We have quite a good number right now. Let's wait for some time.
All right. So, yes, Rahul sir is on vacation,
Yes.
and I am doing the class today. And I might just be better than Rahul sir at communication, just a little bit. I'm sorry, sir.
Ma'am, shots fired, shots fired. All right, so let's just, before we begin the class, let me just give you a context first. So, this is a new thing which we are starting here. We are doing a multi-platform live stream for the first time in G12, right? So what we have done is we have sectionalized the live stream into two separate channels. So one is this YouTube live stream as it already goes. Other than this, there is a StreamYard webinar thing. So there, what we'll do is we are having interactions from there as well, and after some time after the class goes on, there is also going to be a Q&A session, and uh, we are going to take questions from the stream and from stream on YouTube and the StreamYard as well. And lucky few people are also going to have a chance to join the stream on live and ask questions, interact with us. And if you want to be a part, so always keep the notifications on, right? And always register first. So the first come first serve basis, you will be invited, and in the future streams you'll also have the chance to interact with us. All right. Yes. So I guess it's time for me to go away and for you to start your class. All right, all the best.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so how is everybody doing? I'm just going to set up my streaming so we can go ahead. Before that, I would suggest all of you, if you haven't got water already, you need to use the bathroom, go ahead because next 40 minutes you're going to be with me. I have my Happy Fizz, I'm ready to go. All right, let me share my screen. All right, Harsh, can you confirm if people can see my screen? All right. No, sir, I promise it's just Happy Fizz. All right. So let's begin, shall we? So this, as Harsh said, is part two to our game pitch and communications masterclass. Let's start with who I am. So I am Azan. I am a student, just like most of you guys, from the Diploma D batch. So I studied business management for about 4 years, where I had to learn and make at least 1,000 presentations. That's why I would say I am eligible to give all of you this class. And if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn and Discord. I have my details on the screen. And I am currently working on a game called Life's Palette. All right. Let's go. Let's start with what we're going to cover. We're going to cover on how to create an experience rather than just a presentation. This will involve me going through how to stop boring people to death and a few techniques to create an experience rather than just a presentation. Secondly, I'm going to teach you how to represent yourself properly. That is, being someone people want to listen to, and tricks to have a strong stage presence. And finally, my favorite part, we're going to cover technical difficulties. And what are technical difficulties? There are overcoming stage fright and tips to avoid a disastrous presentation. And hopefully, by the end of this masterclass, you'll be able to speak like that man there. All right, who knows who this man is? Can I get some thumbs up again in chats? All right, I am just going to move on. So, part one, creating an experience. First, why is it important to create an experience? If I can get some people in chat to give maybe like one or two words on why it's important to create an experience, I'm going to continue with my answer and we'll compare what you guys have written and what I'm going to say. So, I think it's important to create an experience because a normal presentation is very boring, right? And nobody wants to be bored. I think that's the most basic reason why you should create an experience rather than a presentation. But we'll find out more on how to create these experiences to be remembered. Yes, very good. I like that answer as well. And after that, I will cover how to create balance between just data and a story that creates an experience. After that, adapting to the audience using audio visual aids to create an immersive experience, and why you should break rules sometimes. All right, so first, finding the balance between data and creating an experience. Too much data on your presentation can make your presentation extremely repetitive and boring. Now, how do we combat this? By adding theatrics. For example, humor is literally the easiest way you can add some spice to your pitch or your presentation. You can also use other tricks that I'm going to show you, right? But for now, let's focus on humor. If you're ever confused on how much humor you have to use in your presentation, you can follow this guideline. I call it the 70-30 rule. I just made this up when I was preparing for this, but it is a good guideline. It of course differs on what kind of presentation you're doing, but 30% theatrics is always a good idea. For example, these are pictures from two of my own. I just forgot to present. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, these are pictures of my own presentations. And in the first picture, you can see the parts highlighted in red boxes. That is where I have added some form of theatrics or some form of humor. And this is the last slide of my one button pitch. And the pitch is usually pretty serious, so I just put one funny image to like lighten the mood a little bit. All right. Next, coming to making a structured presentation. Let's see what a structured presentation looks like. Now, you might be thinking, that looks like an act structure for narratives for movies and video games. Why is Hassan using an act structure? Well, what do you guys think? Let's see if the act structure can be adapted to a presentation. What do you guys think? All right, while you type away, oh, I'm going back. All right. So an act structure is something that has been proven, right, to make a good movie or to make a good video game story. So what you can do is for your own pitch or your own presentation, you can adapt this to use it for yourself. Let's take an example of a game pitch, right? In the first act, you will introduce your game. For example, you can talk about, okay, this game is going to be on Steam and HIO. It's a horror game, blah, blah, blah. And then in act two, you name the basics of your game. Okay, it's a first person shooter or a third person shooter. It has dynamic levels or it has static levels, things like that. And act 3 is where typically in a movie you would see a climax or a twist or a punch in the story, right? That's where you want to keep your USP or your key differentiator. Off the top of my mind, let's say the game I'm pitching has a mechanic where every time you shoot your weapon, your character jumps. This is off the top of my mind, so I apologize if this is sounding like a very bad game, but let's go with that. Act 3, you name your key differentiator. And then in Act 4, you talk about how this differentiator is going to impact your game. For example, you can say that because of this jumping mechanic, the levels are vertical, there's a lot of verticality to it, there's a lot of parkour that is added to the game. And then in Act 5, you can just close it up. So, this way, if you're ever confused on what slide to add first, you have a basic framework that you can use. There is a disclaimer, however. If you are a G2M student, I know that there's a lot of people on YouTube as well. Um, what you should do if you're in G2M is all of the assignments that are given in G2M already have a structure. Most of the time, have a structure. I would recommend you follow that structure because it's there for a reason. But if you're doing something that hasn't given, where a structure hasn't been given, that's why you could use this. All right, someone said, "Sir, if I have to leave the stream because I don't have Happy Fizz, will I be able to see this one on YT afterwards?" Yeah, you can see this on YouTube afterwards. Oh, no, Rahul already replied to that. Anyways, let's continue. Okay, now let's talk about unleashing your creativity and not being afraid to break rules. Now, what do I mean by that? Just gonna grab some water. All right, we all know adding pictures is the easiest way to spice up, I mean, to make your presentation look better. But why is this important? This is important because let's say you're doing a free to play game breakdown. I need to explain something complex. So instead of speaking it out, what you can do is add a picture and label it. I know it sounds like I'm saying something very, very simple, but just look at this. This example is from a very close friend of mine, his name is Sushant. He's working on his free to play breakdown right now. And I want you to see how he's used his audiovisual aids with the mobile screen and everything. So that way, you know exactly. And as a student yourself, I think all of you should learn from this. This is something really cool that he's done. All right. Let's go back here. Actually, secondly, audio cues are severely underused. Now, this is where we are breaking some rules. I've never seen any presentation that has used audio nicely. right? Let me show you an example to make you understand. So I am working on a level design breakdown for The Last of Us Part 2, and this involves me to cover moral choices. Now, I don't have any other audio in this presentation, but just for moral choice, I have this audio of this gunshot because it makes the experience complete. Just listen to this. So you can see it is very low. So only people listening carefully will be able to hear that. But at 5% volume, I think it adds a lot of punch, a lot of character to a presentation. So please, guys, don't forget audio cues. Very important. And finally, you have to adapt to the audience. For example, you should know the tone to use during a game pitch versus the four kinds of fun. So this example is simple. When you're doing a game pitch, you'd like to be a bit more serious. You can obviously add some humor into it, but the theme is a bit more tense and a bit more serious. So you'd like to use a more formal tone for that. But if you're doing a four kinds of fun assignment for the non G2M people, the four kinds of fun assignment is something that breaks down a game into four types of fun. For that, for a presentation like that, you can use a lot of humor if you want to. You can make it a very fun, right? So your tone can be very playful in those. And here I have a visual representation of how your presentation would go when you use everything I've mentioned and when you haven't. All right. So that was our first section. That was our first section of our presentation, which was balancing data and story. So now I'm going to take a second to see if you guys have any questions. So this is how it's going to go. I'm going to do one topic and then I'm going to stop for questions and then I'm going to go back to the next topic. Rahul sir just said Hasi the fussy, same principle. I am not sure what that means. I'm sorry. Exactly. Make them laugh and you'll be unforgettable. Yep. All right. So questions, guys. There were some people who got selected. If you want to come on stream and ask questions, now is the time. I'll just catch up with the
All
chat
right,
as well.
guys, if you want to be invited on the stream, you just message there. Ki, hi, I want to ask some questions. Please invite me, something like that, so that I get the queue and you will get the invitation. All right, let's wait a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
If
let's wait for a couple of minutes. So,
uh,
yeah. I hope I was clear with this thing, with the act structure. If there's any doubts on that, I'll be sure to answer them. All right, we have Pranav who wants to ask a question, and Sushant as
yes,
well. All right, so we can have one of them now. All right, let's.
let's add Sushant Jadhav. I think yes. Let's give him an invitation. He has been invited. Let's wait for his response.
So M
All right.
series pitching is pitching something which makes the major hype. I would say yeah. Pitching is always very cool. I think it's the most fun I've had in G2M is going to people's big game pitches because it's a lot of fun because all of them, are our classmates, they are seniors, and we know them so well. And just to see their ideas about a game, it's always very fun. It's always very hype.
All right. So, Sushant, if you can hear me, I have invited you to the studio. Uh, if you could just accept my invitation, then all right. So, as I was saying, he is here. Let me add. Hi, Sushant. What's up?
Oh, we
Uh,
lost him.
it's showing they need
Can
to.
you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
yes,
you.
yes. What's up?
Am I audible? You're actually not audible to me.
Okay, we can hear you if you can see
We
us.
can hear you. Yes.
Wait a second. We have some technical difficulties. Let me just check this once.
Mhm. I guess he is. So let's not do like. Let's wait for else wanted to ask a question.
Pranav.
Pranav, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just add Pranav, send Pranav an invite, and he'll just Pranav.
Also, Harsh Rahul sir said if we screw it up, he's gonna fire us both.
Oh shit, sir. Just a disclaimer: it's not our fault. He's having technical difficulties. Please. Okay, so I have invited Pranav. If there anything like if there are any issues, then we'll just move forward. All
Yeah,
right.
we can. Let's do one thing. Let's move
Mhm.
forward now.
Okay. Okay.
We
Okay.
can leave the questions for later, towards
Huh,
the
huh,
end,
huh.
because yeah, this is
Okay.
all right.
So I'll
Cool.
again hop back. You continue.
All right, I'll continue. And yeah, we can try that again. If not, you can just type out your questions in detail, and after the things are done, I can answer them. All right. So for now, I'll just continue on with the presentation. All right. So part two of this masterclass is all about representing yourself. I'm going to cover why it is important to show your personality. I just hit my mic. I'm sorry if that affected you guys. Why is it important to show your personality? How to make sure your personality shows through your presentation, using the correct tone for the situation, and your physical presentation and why it matters. Also, if you're wondering why this presentation is extremely bland, it is like that for a reason, because you guys will be getting this presentation which you can download. Uh, we can arrange for a way to do that. So every time you do a presentation, this for G2 students, you can refer back to this and it will have no distractions. All of these images will be removed. And why I put Jeff's picture over there is because he represents himself very beautifully. So it's just a reference for you guys. All right. So, first, why is it important to show your personality? The audience will go through 1,000 presentations a week, and letting your personality shine is the only way to differentiate yourself from the others, which is going to make you stand out from the crowd. And if you stand out from the crowd, you get more recognition. If you get more recognition, you get a better job, and it's like a whole snowball effect. All right. And your audience is most likely Rahul sir. And when Rahul sir goes through so many boring presentations, that's kind of what he looked like. Sorry, Rahul, we love you. All right, next up, how to show your personality through a presentation. So I've covered most of this in part one, and so this involves everything that I said in part one to make your presentation look nice, and then all of these points. So first, having stage presence, right? What do I mean by stage presence? I mean, when you're speaking, everybody wants to listen to you. Everybody kind of wants to know what you're talking about, right? So to have stage presence, you involve the audience and make them curious, kind of what I am doing right now, asking questions and everything. Of course, Rahul sir, of course. All right. Uh, for having a strong stage presence, you add theatrics and humor. Personalizing your presentations, everything that I mentioned in part one, and then yeah, I've already uh, went through all of this. And yes, my favorite point always, AI will not help you show your personality. The whole point of your personality is because it's personal, it's something that you have written. If you are using AI, make sure that it is not generative and you're using it to correct your grammar and stuff. Don't use it to generate your script completely. All right, so let's watch this clip on having stage presence and grabbing everybody's attention. Let's just watch this clip. It worked. Whatever it was, it worked. So, if the world's best boss is using these tricks to get people's attention, that's kind of what I'm doing as well. But yes, make sure you grab people's attention. All right, next up, why your physical presentation matters. And by physical presentation, I mean grooming yourself and dressing up well. You don't want to look like you just woke up and you came to class, you started presenting. This point is ignored a lot. And if you're presenting in person, that means offline, use a lot of hand gestures and stand confidently. Don't just stand there not doing anything, just reading out your presentation. Be a little bit more dynamic, walk around and things like that. And if you are presenting online, then sit with a good posture and keep your camera on always. Now imagine if I took this class like this. Yeah, guys, so like if you're presenting online, it's not gonna work. Nobody's gonna be, yeah, no dirty undies hanging behind you. Yes. I just cleaned my room before this. So yep. Thank you, Ayush. That means a lot. I like it. All right. And using the correct tone, don't just read it out with a blank face. Now, I already told you about what type of tone to use, but here, what I'm talking about is if you're reading out something, don't just read it in a very monotone way. Make sure to add some emotion and some feelings to your words, just like I am right now. Yeah, yeah, blur your background as well. Okay, now I have guidelines for you on how to dress up. So, as you can see here, if you're presenting, do not dress up like Halloween Jeff. Dress up like business Jeff. All right, so we're done with part two as well. How should we try the questions now, or should I finish the presentation?
I guess what we could do is we could carry on,
All
and
right,
afterwards we'll also have like a collection of people,
all right,
right?
sure, sure.
So yeah, I guess we can carry on.
All right, I'll carry on. And Rahul sir is right. Use memes. Jeff is like the biggest meme right now. The shark is called Jeff the Lion Shark. He's the biggest meme right now. So that's why I mentioned him twice. All right. So, part three, technical difficulties, my favorite part. Now, the first thing, how to overcome stage fright and nervous gestures. Before I start with that, how many of you have stage fright? You can be honest, send a thumbs up if you have stage fright, and we'll see. I'm just going to drink some water until I get some responses. All right, we have Harsh having stage fright. Avimit does not have stage fright. Let's go, let's go. All right. So I can tell a lot of people have stage fright. Oh, I did something very bad. I messed up. I'm sorry, guys. Let me first get you through what I'm going to cover in this topic. So I'm going to talk about stage fright and nervous gestures. I'm going to talk about what to do if your PC crashes or you face other technical difficulties, and point of views in writing, a first person point of view versus a third person point of view. And audience feedback and playlisting. Now, I'll tell you what that means when we get to it. All right, picking up where we would. I'm sorry for that mistake. Everybody except for Abhimeet does not have stage fear. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. Everybody has stage fear. Abhimeet is lying. My hands are shaking right now. It's my second class. You and I have stage fright. Everybody has stage fright, right? So don't ever think that there's nothing called stage fright. It's always there. Okay. Now, how do you combat stage fright? Okay. The way to combat stage fright is practicing. And once you have that down, that's the only thing you need to combat it. But since I am a pro, I'm going to show you some tricks to make it look like you're not frightened frightened of speaking on a stage. All right. So tip number one is stop doing nervous gestures and act like a Sigma male. What do I mean about that? What do I mean when I say that? So the most common nervous gestures I see is people just being like they're shocked, like they're trying to say something and they forget the script, they lose the train of thought, and they're only staring at the screen, desperately trying to figure out where they left off. All right. Stop doing that. Okay. And I'll tell you how. Right. One thing is you can stop overusing bridging words and stop overusing bridging words like and the. If you noticed my speaking till now, I have used the word quite a lot. Right? It is something I am working on, but I can't seem to get rid of it. So I just made the a little bit shorter. So don't use bridging words too much. It gets a little annoying for the audience. Next up, we have over explaining basic stuff. A very common thing people do is when they lose their train of thought, they just start over explaining the most basic things. For example, let's take the same example we did from the pitch we spoke about earlier, a first person game where every time you shoot a bullet, you jump, right? And let's say I lose my train of thought, then what usually people do is they start explaining what an FPS game is. Everybody on this planet knows what an FPS game is. You do not need to over explain all of these basic things again and again. What you could do is take a second, find yourself, and get back to it. Another important thing to remember is stop trying to be someone you are not. If you are someone who is timid and not very loud, don't try to become a very loud and obnoxious person just for a presentation. You can use your presentation skills, your making your presentations, the design aspect of it, look very nice and it'll have the same effect. And here is a representation of what stage fright looks like. All right, now what do you do if your PC crashes or you have technical difficulties? Rahul sir asked me to cover this particularly. I think he has faced that quite a bit. So, to cover that, I have the perfect solution for all of you guys. It's called Azan's 5-step strategy. This is something I just came up with a week ago. All right, so how does it work? There's 5 steps to it. Step number one, if your internet cuts out or your current goes away or you mess up something and close your Zoom by mistake, step number one is don't panic. Panicking will only make you more nervous and it'll mess up your flow when you get back. Step number two is you inform the other people in the class. If you're in G2M, if you get disconnected on a call during your presentation, call your buddies on WhatsApp, message them, or you could just message Rahul sir themselves in the Discord, telling them that your internet went off or whatever, and you can join back. Now, step number three is you join back whenever you can, as quickly as possible. Don't be scared if you cannot join back, if your current is gone. There's always ways to reschedule it. Step number 4 is when you join back, don't be scared or angry or nervous that you left your presentation in between. Just make a joke about it and follow step 5, which is carry on like nothing happened. All right, now coming to the next section, we have, this is not a technical difficulty, but something technical. So just don't mind that. A first person point of view versus a third person point of view. So let's see how many of the people here know about a first person point of view in writing and a third person point of view in writing. Can we get a thumbs up if you do know what it is, and a thumbs down if you don't know what it is? I'm just going to drink some water again. My mouth is feeling dry. All right. We have a few thumbs up, one thumbs down. All right. No worries, because I am going to explain to you in the simplest way possible. All right. Most of you know what the first person point of view or the third person point of view is. And Sushant cannot find the thumbs up emoji. All right. Don't worry, bro. You'll find it soon. Uh, a first person point of view it's a narrative style that uses pronouns to describe, such as I, me, and we. Whereas in a third person point of view, uh, uses descriptive language like he, she, and it. If this still doesn't make sense to you, just hold on, you will realize soon. All right, a first person POV is used when the speaker's own perspective is being presented, whereas in a third person POV, the speaker gives an objective view. All right, so we have examples here. An example of a first person POV is I walked into the room feeling nervous about the meeting ahead of me. So, as you can see, I and me, these are words that exist only when you use a first person POV when you're writing, right? Coming to a third person example, she walked into the room. Her heart was pounding about the upcoming exam. She and her, those were descriptive words. That's what makes it third person point of view. Now you might be wondering, when I'm doing a presentation, do I use a first person point of view or a third person point of view? And the answer to that is you always try to stick to a third person point of view, or you could use a first person point of view very rarely. Just make sure if you're doing an assignment, you ask your teacher or your mentor first if you can use it, because my personal experience, every time that I have used first person writing, there was a lot of eyebrows raised. And yeah, just make sure that you can use third person POV while writing. All right, coming to our last section of this class, playtesting and audience feedback. Now, what do I mean by that? So, what I mean by this is you need to find a group of friends, right? It can be your buddies from school, it can be your buddies who are not in G2Web or not in the game industry, and you can simulate a pitch and ask them for feedback. So, what you can do is you can ask them at one point they were bored, which points you weren't making sense, which parts were wrong. This way, you can improve on the places you were weak at and use this as constructive criticism. Now, you have to find a good focus group, because if it's just full of yes men, you're never going to improve because they're never going to find something wrong with your presentation. So make sure you have a group where there is healthy discussion about what you're good at and what you are bad at. Nitish has no thumbs. Okay. All right. And of course, practice makes perfect. I'm going to show you the members of my feedback group. Uh, Here's a picture of them. It's supposed to be a secret, but yeah, whatever. And yes, that was it for my masterclass. So we have another 15 minutes or so, and the floor is open for questions. So yeah, you could type smaller questions in the chat, and for bigger questions and people who want to come onto the stream and ask the questions, you can do that as well.
So, first of all, let me give you a feedback from my side.
All right.
It has been really helpful. Even though I was just moderating, I was also listening to the masterclass. And as you know, I am really bad at speaking. Like I have stage
Come
fear.
on,
So
bro. You're doing it
it's
right now. You're so good.
it's because of you. I
Come
was
on, bro.
watching the
You're
masterclass.
flattering
I
me now.
improved it because of it.
All right.
All right. So as we were saying, Sushant is ready. I hope there are no technical
Technical
difficulties this time.
difficulties.
Let's see. So Sushant, I have sent you an invite. Let's wait. So till then, till he joins us, if anyone of you guys want to join our stream, so you can come here and you just send. You have a question. So like I already got Abhay here, and we'll send you an invitation for it. All right. So hi Sushant, what's up?
Hello, finally.
Oh, yeah,
What's
it's
up,
finally
Sushant?
working. Nice, nice.
Yep. Yep.
Yes. So what
All
was
right.
your question? Can you hear me?
Hello,
Sushant, hello.
Sushant.
Another difficulty.
Yeah, man. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah.
All right. You can hear us?
Blame
Can you
Geo.
hear us?
Blame Geo for that. Okay, I blame Geo for that.
All right. But you can hear us properly now, right?
Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
My main question was like you said to be creative and go out of bounds and everything.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering like, mhm.
No, go on. Go on. Sorry.
I think it's lagging. I think the stream is lagging a bit.
Maybe, maybe.
I
But
guess it
yeah,
could
go
be.
ahead with your question and I will respond.
Uh, okay, so I guess he's watching the webinar instead of the studio in which we invited him. So there's like a 10 or 15 seconds delay. That's why
Yeah,
he could be
the
having any difficulty.
network. Yeah, the stream is lagging. Yeah, the stream is lagging a
Hmm.
bit. See. I'll just iterate the question. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What if I go out of box and the people who are judging me, they don't like it?
All right. So when I said break rules and you broke
What
one
if
of those rules,
we? What if it
yeah,
backfires? Yeah, basically.
yeah. All right. So let's say you make a joke that backfires. What you can do is learn from it, right? You should never use a joke that goes too far or break a rule that's like very set in stone. For example, like let's say you get an assignment where you have your free to play breakdown, and we know for a fact that your core gameplay loop and your meta loop always comes first. And now if you're breaking a rule by putting in the USP of your game first before this, it's not going to make sense. So whenever you're breaking these rules, you have to make sure that you are not ruining your presentation in a way, because when you put your USP in front of everything, you don't even know what the game is, and you're putting all of this in front of your core game loop. It doesn't make sense. So, like just as an example, I think that should answer your question.
Yep, I guess. And that's a really insightful answer.
Thank you.
All right. So I had to like remove him from the studio because of the delays, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I guess Sushant, if you got a question answered, you can type it in the chat, right? So
Yeah.
let's move
Thumbs
forward.
up in the chat. He can't find thumbs up. That's why I said that.
Uh, Yes. So, Abhay, I have invited you to the studio. Let's wait for him then. All right. So, till Abhay comes, let's wait some time for him and we'll move forward with some other questions if there are any. All right. Abhay is here.
So Shant is a very sweet guy. I
Hello,
agree.
am I visible?
Yes,
Hi.
you are, Abhay.
Yes,
What's
you
up?
are.
Yo, bro,
What's up?
nice presentation. Okay, it was very
Please
nice.
don't call me bro. Call me sir.
ठीक है भाई. Okay, sir.
I'm
Okay,
just joking.
very
Please go
very
on.
very
Yeah.
nice presentation. Uh,
Thank you. Thank you.
what I wanted to ask you about is if I create a if wait if I create a presentation, right?
Yeah.
Wait, I'll just pause the stream, man. Okay, if I create a presentation and I've prepared everything about it, okay, and
Yeah.
I'm explaining it, and after a few minutes, when I get to the main point, right, I
Yeah.
completely blank out. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you deal with it? Like, how do
All
you
right.
strategize your way?
All right. So when you become blank, all
Mm-hmm.
right, the first thing you want to do is not try to remember what you have to say next, right? You try to find where you left off. So what I like to do is I like to use my mouse to like hover over all the text close to the text I am reading. So that way,
Mm-hmm.
if I would lose track, I look at my mouse
Mm-hmm.
cursor and I'm like, okay, I was at this point. In
Mm-hmm.
case you blanked out because you don't remember what you were supposed to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
that's completely fine. Skip that point and go ahead. Because when you create these pauses in between, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't give a good impression to the audience.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
my
it
suggestion is
doesn't, yeah, it doesn't even take a lot of time for people to realize it, right?
exactly.
They clearly know that you're stuttering now. Yeah, this guy is stuck right now. He can't think
Yeah,
of anything else. So
yeah.
yeah, that gives a bad impression. So I just wanted to ask you, how do I tackle that? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a pretty nice answer, niche answer. Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What I did, I got stuck like two times in this call itself. I just skipped it. So
Yeah.
yeah, if the
No, no,
replay
no.
ever comes out, you're gonna find
No, no.
out. Nobody caught
It's,
that I missed something. But yeah,
no. It was an insane class, dude. You already provide helped me a lot. You improved my presentations a lot. Nice class, dude. I
all
think
right.
Rahul
Thank
sir
you.
should officially hire you as a permanent mentor, dude. Seriously, yeah.
All right.
Okay, that
Yeah.
will go beyond behind the closed doors.
All right.
Right.
Let's
Okay,
move
All
on.
bro.
right.
Let's
Okay.
move on.
I'm gonna
Let's
leave
move
Thank
you.
on.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abhay. Thank you for
Thank
Yeah.
coming.
you.
Yeah.
All right. So if there are any other questions, you guys can just shoot at us.
All right. Until we find another question, this is for all of the G2M students. I am going to forward all of you a feedback form on Google Forms. And if you could fill that out, please, that would really help me. The last time I sent it out, I got like 4 responses. So let's make it at least like 6 responses this time, please. I'll send you guys the link somehow. I'll figure it out, but you'll get the link.
All right. I guess there are no questions remaining. So
Yeah.
let's just wrap up because it's 9 degrees here and I just want to go back to my blanket, which is, as you can see, behind me.
It's like very normal in Vizag, dude. Like it's not cold here anymore.
All right. So, yeah, I guess, are there any final thoughts from you, Azam?
My final thoughts are: do not be scared, man. If you want to make
Mm,
a step in presenting, just don't be scared. Like, try to think about what's the worst that could happen. We are still students. You make a
mm,
mistake 1 2 times, it's not going to affect you that much. And if that is what is affecting your work, I would say it would be a very nice thing if you took some risks and you took some leaps instead of being scared and nervous.
mm. Nice. That
And
that's a very
yeah.
good closing statement.
All
Thank you
right. Thank you.
for
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Good night,
All
Harsh.
right.
And
So
thank you
before
for
we
everything.
go, again, this is a reminder for future updates, for future events. Always subscribe, as you know the basic stuff, right? So you just subscribe for the events, and always keep a note on the emails and the WhatsApp messages which we give, because if you register first, because there are always limited seats, and as you can see, we invited some people on the stream to ask for guidance for their questions. They can directly communicate with us, right? So all right, so let's just go then, right?
Bye. Good night,
Right.
everybody.
Bye. Good night. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Bye bye.
Yes, Friday night. All right. See you.